everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Rayen Patnaik as we break down the Friday 7-game NBA DFS slate. Well, late swap comes through again. Kevin Porter Jr., my dear God. The Dallas Mavericks we got before lock, which ended up being fantastic. Just about all of the guys that I had a bunch of outside of like a little bit of Trey Burke, but got off of a lot of him because Kevin Porter Jr. was a thing that I wanted in my life. I saw that he just went to the locker room, came back, got a couple assists. He's going to smash this slate, but also I played some of those low-owned Timberwolves thinking they were going to get blown out. Little did I know the Pelicans weren't even going to play basketball today. Rinpack, how's your night going? Talk to me a little bit about how you're doing.
I have no idea how I'm doing. It's all going to come down to this late night hammer. We shall see what ends up happening. I have quite a bit about Kevin Porter Jr., quite a bit of Oladipo. A lot of Rockets end up coming through. We'll see how they end up performing in this late night hammer.
Yeah, I wish I trusted the Tony Bradley thing a little bit more. I got to like 20%. FanDuel, I'm not even going to look at anymore because Tobias Harris was trash. But DK, there could be some fun stuff going on. Yeah, for you, how do you ever know how you're doing? You're playing four sites. You're bouncing around. You're everywhere, my dude.
Yeah, going back to the Tony Bradley thing, he ended up being my highest owned player on DK. So a lot of late swapping in that situation just because of the opportunity cost and like. I thought there was a path for him to play extra minutes with Philly being on the front end of a back-to-back. So that's the move that I chose as Bradley. Hopefully it'll pay off, but Tobias Harris was really disappointing over there as the Sixers blew out the Bulls.
What a trap. What a trap price. God. You know, sometimes I get mad about these misprices, but also game theorists, like they just absolutely got there on that one. I like to pride myself and think that I'm one, but man, did I eat that chalk and that was not pretty. But Tony Bradley, thanks for the DM. Appreciate you. Congratulations on your victorious night. Guys, let's get started. Before we do, get down to that bottom bar, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Big time hit the subscribe button. That goes a long way for us. And hit that notification bell so you know when this and all the other content at Awesemo is going live. Let's go to that top end of point guard over on FanDuel. I'm going to start there today because I'm feeling extra frisky. And Russell Westbrook, 10,100 up against Philly. I saw earlier in the day that Bradley Beal is going to be questionable with some kind of a knee injury. I don't know anything about it. I just know that he's questionable. So Russell Westbrook, not that he would be a bad play already at 10-1. I believe Ben Simmons will continue to be out, so he won't be able to guard Russell Westbrook. That makes me pretty excited to jam him in a bunch. John Wall, Houston's on a back-to-back. They ended up sitting him today. He kind of popped up questionable. Maybe had a little too much fun over the All-Star break. I don't really know. It made no sense that we got that news so late, but we did. And John Wall, 8,500 on FanDuel. Wouldn't mind getting to a little bit. John Morant, 8,300. We're starting to see a little bit of pop from him. He had a double-double with assists last time out. 2 games prior to that before the All-Star break, 48.7, 55 over on FanDuel. And then DeJounte Murray. We're going to see that price start to come down because he's just way overpriced for all of these Spurs being back. I know Aldridge is going to be out, but that doesn't really matter to me. All the guards are back. Talk to me about point guard.
Yeah, Westbrook, Murray, Wall, Morant, all those guys are great options. Russell Westbrook, 10-1. I think is definitely something you should be targeting if Bradley Beal does not play. DeJounte Murray, there is no DeMar DeRozan tomorrow, so I think you're going to have to consider DeJounte Murray at $8,200, even though it's an elevated price. Like, I do expect him to get quite a bit of usage and kind of run the show for the Spurs. If John Wall goes against Utah, I'll have some interest just because the guy's shot attempts are up there. And if Oladipo for some reason doesn't play the back end of the back-to-back, I think Wall's going to have to run the show. And same with Morant. And it's nice to see him get that pop back in his step. Very impressive performance against Washington the other night. Very efficient as well. Other guys in the mid-tier, Derek White, 5,400, was very disappointing last time. I like that he played 27 minutes. There's room for him to play more with no DeMar tomorrow. So I think going back to Derek White after he disappointed everyone is something that we should be definitely considering. Probably one of my favorite mid-tier options on the overall slate. Over there in DK, obviously, there's LeBron, there's Russ on both of them. If Bradley Beal goes, I think I'm going to prefer Westbrook to LeBron. They're going to be very close for me. Hopefully there's enough value to find a way to roster both of them. We shall see if that opens up. DeJounte Murray, 7,500. I think we can definitely consider that with the Spurs lineup implications. John Wall, 8,100. I think that's something we can definitely consider if all systems go for him. He was playing a ton of minutes, and like I said, the shot volume was definitely there before the All-Star break. And some spend down options. Derek White over there, $4,900. Definitely standing out to me for sure over there.
I like them all. I'm kind of looking down here a little bit further, seeing if there's like anything that really pops off. Kobe White, we just saw them get absolutely annihilated. This Miami team is not going to be a spot that you're really going to want to target too much, but I know that there's a scoring upside. Only ended up playing 24 minutes tonight, so I'd expect that to be popping up a little bit. Shake Milton now got his price increased to 5,800, so I don't think we're going to see as much ownership going that direction. I can tell you that much. He'll still be owned though, because there is definitely some opportunity. Is there anybody? I guess I'm just looking over at FanDuel still right over here. Is there anybody down there a little bit cheaper? I mean, if John Wall continues to be out, Sterling Brown is still going to be 3,600. There hasn't been any adjustment to that news. I think Houston would be another source of value, especially like we know that Utah is a tough defensive matchup, but like they're like straddling the 8-player line if those guys continue to be out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's something you can definitely consider Sterling Brown. I don't know how well he's doing today, but at that price tag,
he's
you can
absolute garbage right now. Absolute garbage so far. I know that because I have some. Anybody else you want to talk about here on the bottom end then?
Now let's hop on over to the shooting guard.
All right, shooting guard over on DraftKings. Bradley Beal, the aforementioned 9,700 up against Philly. We'll see if he ends up going. Zach LaVine, I was going through some random NBA stats because, again, why wouldn't you do that all the time? I was looking at true shooting numbers, and I saw random things. Top 10 right now, Zach LaVine. For a volume scorer, that's very impressive to see him shooting as well as what he is. Better true shooting percentage than Steph Curry. And then some of these other guys that we think of as like great shooters because they are, but like that's just a guy that I'm going to continue to be chasing some upside with in some spots as long as he's low owned. But against Miami, we'll kind of see how that pans out. Donovan Mitchell is 8,800. This will be our first look at him after the All-Star break. We've got 55 point upside that he showed up against Philadelphia in that tough matchup. Houston has no answer for him whatsoever. I mean, he'll be able to score as much as he wants. Like Oladipo's a capable defender, but we'll see if he even plays on the second half of this back-to-back. Speaking of Oladipo, my highest owned player in a lot of spots over here, him and Kevin Porter Jr., my two highest, should I say. We'll see how tonight pans out and if he ends up playing on this back-to-back, but Houston can't compete with Utah. This line is going to be absolutely absurd. I'm not sure what it is. I'm probably going to get on the Utah side of it no matter what, but 8,300 Oladipo, still maybe some DFS interest if he plays. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, over there. Beal Gills, I'll have interest. I do believe he put up 60 real-life points against this Philadelphia team earlier in the year.
He did.
That was with the all systems go Philadelphia team. This time, it's a much depleted team on a back-to-back. So I'll have interest if he plays for sure. LaVine, 9,400 versus Miami. Yeah, you're going to like LaVine just because we know what the shot volume is look like, and the upside is definitely there for him to really put on a performance. But at that price tag, I think saving to Mitchell makes a lot more sense, 8,200 against a Houston team that's been very disappointing over the past, ever since Christian Wood got hurt. So that's something that we can target. We saw what this Minnesota team did to the Pelicans defense. Colin Sexton's an elevated 7,800 price tag will be unique, but I think something that we can definitely consider. Spending down, there's still no DeMar over there in San Antonio. Patty Mills might be an option at 3,900. He played 29 minutes last time. Maybe he plays around those same minutes again. I think he's definitely, you can definitely consider him. Dwayne Bacon showed out today. There's a guy who I really don't enjoy rostering, but the way the injury situation shaped out in Orlando, I had to consider him today. He played well today, put up 26 fantasy points. He's the min on FanDuel. Devin Vassell might crack the rotation with no DeMar, so that's another spend down option over there. Over there in DK, obviously Beal 9.7, LaVine 9.6. Both are fine options. Obviously, you know what they can do. Spending down, you got Vassell, White, and Mills as some Spurs options continue. Kevin Porter has come back and showed out. If he continues to ball out, he's up, I think, already up to 20 fantasy points in the first half. I think he'll be very popular tomorrow. Maybe we hop off if John Wall comes back, but someone who's going to be quite popular at that price tag, in my opinion. So we can definitely consider that. And damn, Terrence Ross is 7,200. What a world. And you can monitor his situation. If he's in, you can get a low on 7-2 Terrence Ross if that excites you by any means.
No, it doesn't. He's probably earned it. A guy who's not just shooting based in a lot of ways, like getting enough rebounds. Really, it's just a minutes thing. The guy, as long as he's on the floor, he's going to be able to score it, put it in the bucket. But he's had a number of games where he's at least put up helping stats. I can remember multiple times last year where I was like, is this guy going to do anything besides put it in the bucket? But yeah, 7,200. I can't imagine anybody's going to go that direction. So have at everyone. Michael Carter Williams, 6,300. No thanks over on DraftKings, even though he has expressed an upside in multiple games leading up to this. Dallas and Atlanta. I don't know what he ended up with today. I know he was going to be popular on FanDuel, but he definitely didn't eclipse 30. Anybody else down here that you're really looking at? I mean, we're going to get Grayson Allen back, so that probably nixes a lot of that Memphis shooting guard value that we played on a 2-gamer, given this is 7 games, a little bit different from 2 days ago. But anybody else that you're kind of looking at? Maybe Korkmaz if you were to like sneak in the starting lineup, because Philly is playing Washington. That's probably got to be the best spot on the slate, no?
Yeah, definitely. I think instead of going to Korkmaz, I feel taking some shots, like spending up to a guy like Derek White, I feel more confident with than
Okay.
going to a guy like Korkmaz. I know he can definitely get there as a shooting upside, very shooting dependent in my opinion, and someone who you really need him to be shooting lights out from 3 to help you get there.
Okay, I'm just throwing out ideas. This is just the first look, just letting it be known. We'll get ourselves over to small forward, but first, guys, we've got something going for all the new users out there. If you guys are a new user to Awesemo.com, you can get 50% off a week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All you have to do is use the promo code Shamrock. Shamrock is in March, is in Leprechauns, is in all the lovely things about St. Patrick's Day coming up this weekend, but get over to Awesemo.com. We have NBA, that's NHL, that's for everything. NHL, PGA, which just got going. We'll have some showdown stuff coming out for that from some of the golf guys. NHL, again, I'm absolutely loving that product. I'm sad the prize pools are back down because I was really enjoying that over break. Probably maybe get into a little bit of that this weekend. There's a nice 10-gamer on Saturday. I might have been looking ahead. Look at all of the stuff that we have to offer over there, specifically our NBA product, which is second to none. I absolutely cannot tell you enough how much I'm using the Boom Bust tool, all of the stuff on Fantasy Cruncher. So get over there, take advantage now. Code Shamrock. Just stop guessing and start winning. To the top end is small forward. Over on DraftKings, LeBron James is 10-4. He's got a Q tag that's just permanently glued next to his face. He's just probable. Don't worry about it. Just play him against Indiana. This is not a spot where I'm really going to try to get too cute with it. I do really like him as a spend-up option on just a 7-game slate. Over on FanDuel, obviously, he's going to be a little bit more valuable, but it's a question between him and the guy right below him, Jimmy Butler. His price went down. The guy puts up 60. His price went down. I know that this is Chicago, maybe like not the same spot as Orlando or whatever, but I can't see any difference between the two. Like, Jimmy Butler is out of his mind. He goes from a 1.4 to a 1.5 fantasy point per minute guy with Bam off the floor. I would take either of those in this spot as long as you're going to be getting 35 plus minutes of that guy. Absolutely love Jimmy Butler in this spot as well. We skip Simmons, skip DeRozan, who's ruled out, so that's going to be something to take a look at for a lot of things. We'll get to Keldon Johnson, some of these other sources of value. But Brandon Ingram, huge disappointment. Now going to be going to Cleveland. Man, they just got ran out of the gym today. That was a strange thing. As somebody who self-professed their love for the New Orleans Pelicans from a fantasy aspect, and then is an actual Timberwolves fan, I have no idea how all of this crap happened. Karl Anthony Towns still didn't get there, God forbid. But otherwise, it was an interesting day. Talk to me about small forward.
No, I mean, it was just like a whole like DFS reverse fan psychology in there played in for you. And the Pelicans were up like 15 points at the first quarter at one point.
So
yeah, an absolute turnaround. Obviously, FanDuel, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram, all have tremendous upside. Their matchups also work out pretty well. LeBron's price all the way 10-9. We have seen there was one monster game against Portland without Anthony Davis, and he was solid against Phoenix. He's going to have to ride. He's going to have to carry the load on his shoulder. I'm willing to pay up for LeBron tomorrow for sure, even at FanDuel. Butler 9.6. Terrence Ross is 5,700 here. If he plays, I think we can definitely consider Terrence Ross a lot more favorable price tag. On FanDuel, we're at the roster too. Keldon Johnson, 5,400. I know it was very popular on the 2-game slate the other night. Kind of disappointing. Only played 22 minutes. Hopefully those minutes go back up. Definitely someone we want to consider. Jimmy Butler's on a back-to-back. I will be shocked if they don't play him against Chicago, his former team, back in Chicago near his hometown. So, not his hometown, near his where he played college in Marquette. But
and then he also played there for a long time.
Yeah. So I think Jimmy Butler makes for a great option as well. Spending all the way down. Matisse Thybulle showed out today. Obviously, very fluky steals performance. Put up 5 steals. That's why he's going to carry some FanDuel lineups at 3,500 earlier tonight. But Dustin Holiday is going to rack up the minutes. Someone we can definitely consider over there. Over there in DK, obviously the same guys are in play. 10-4, 9-2, 8-3 for LeBron, Jimmy, and Ingram respectively. I like Ingram at that 8,300 price tag going back against Cleveland. Only played 28 minutes today. They're going to need him to really get it going if they want to make any sort of push for the play-in game. Someone we should be targeting at that price tag, in my opinion. Keldon Johnson, 4,800. I like going to these Spurs with no DeMar now. Hopefully they come in a little under-owned. Even Devin Vassell, if you were to get some minutes, someone at the min, seems exciting to roster just because it's min, and there's some decent amount of studs in the front court that we're going to talk about.
Kevin Porter's first half line against the Sacramento Kings. They're down 14, mind you. But Kevin Porter Jr., 8 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. I'm going to say that he's viable on FanDuel under 5K for sure. Played 14 minutes already. That's what really matters. I'm not just box score watching. I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time that Kevin Porter Jr. is probably going to be the highest owned player on the slate tomorrow. I feel pretty confident in saying that even right now. Not that I have any clue about anything, but 3,200, a dude who's going to play at least 25 minutes tonight. Maybe he sits out because he did tweak his ankle here at the end of the second, or like towards the end of the second quarter as he was just smashing for us. But want to let it be known that's just kind of the way that's going to break down. If you were to sit Ben McLemore, again, they're going to be punting this game against Utah. I can't imagine if John Wall isn't right that they're not going to just sit him. There's really no point in trying to go into Utah and sneak a game because they are banged up, and if Oladipo sits, there's just so much that needs to be decided with this Houston situation, so I won't theorize too much. I will say, though, Matisse Thybulle started today. As long as Embiid and Simmons are off the floor or whatever, Matisse Thybulle going up against Washington, a guy who can express a steals upside, played fantastic today from what I saw. Like somebody that I actually like as a player. He's a great defender, does a lot of like the dirty work for people. Not a scorer by any means, but like can get there in other ways from a fantasy aspect. 3,100 over on FanDuel, 3,100 on DK over on FanDuel. I'm assuming he's still at the complete min. Yeah, he absolutely is. So another spot that you can definitely go to on this slate. Anybody else to round out the position?
No, I think we covered a lot of spots. There's going to be some news that's going to pop up. Some teams are in a back-to-back. So, yeah, small forward is a spot where value opens up like it did today, and it really changes your lineup construction in a hurry, especially over there on FanDuel.
And to whoever said in YouTube chat while I was doing live before lock today, don't play KZ Okpala. I mean, that was just dumb. Like, why would you do such things? I know he started today, but like, I know he's at the min, played 11 minutes. Do better. We can do better than that. Top end of power forward. Also, shout out to Mark K. By the way, 175K. I know you're listening, Mark. Dude, what an absolute smash. So great to see that. Happy to see any supporters that we got hitting massive 6-figure scores. Who are you, Rinpack? Stop this. Like, what is this crap? Rinpack, anything to say?
No, awesome. Absolutely. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Thrilling on to hear that. Seeing that comment really made my day. And I know you're living in a high moment. Ride it out. It's a ton of fun. And we're happy to be part of your DFS process. And it was really thrilling to see that comment. Really, really happy for you. Hopefully there's other members who listen to this show that reach you up at the top as well.
It can be done. Hey, if I can hit a 6-figure score, it can happen for anybody. I'm just a know nothing DFS tout over here. Top end of power forward, Domantas Sabonis, 9,900. Absolutely love this guy as a basketball player. Lakers are not a great spot, but there's no Anthony Davis there. We've seen their defensive inefficiencies show up here and there without Anthony Davis in the middle. Also going to be missing Marc Gasol going forward, who's going to continue to be out. I'm curious what the Lakers are going to be doing. We're going to be looking at some Morris action. maybe some Damian Jones. I don't know if I could stomach such things like that. But Domantas Sabonis, not the typical Lakers spot it would normally be. I'll definitely have some interest. Zion Williamson, you break my heart, kid. I mean, this was just a gross game. I'm going to just call it a one-off for these Pelicans and kind of move on because they have been playing better ball of late. Again, as you said, they were leading in the first quarter, then that game just got away from them. So write that off. We have a lot of red circles next to Anthony Davis, DeMar DeRozan, Christian Wood. Tobias Harris up to 8,300. Another $100 or $200 price increase to account for the fact that he wasn't a part of any of the winning lineups today at his massive, massive ownership. Such a sad day for all of us involved, but I'm going right back to the well against Washington. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the team that Philadelphia is handled with, I still think he's going to garner the load for them. He would have gotten there first if Chicago was just not a piss poor basketball team.
But they're a piss poor basketball team. That's a problem. Yeah, that's true. Keep going.
Yeah. And it's now Washington, and I think people might be disappointed with that. And this is where you just take advantage of recency bias and be like, boom, let's ride. So I think Tobias Harris is definitely one of the better plays on the slate. And at that price tag, I'm fine with going there. And I hope he comes in under end because I want to be over the field on him again. Same price as Brandon Ingram. So hopefully there's going to be some decision points being made there for some people. Hopefully we can be on the right side of that. Zion, 9,100 versus Cleveland, had this huge dunk in the first half, I want to say, against Minnesota off the baseline. Very, very impressive dunk. Against Cleveland, I think we can definitely consider that. It was disappointing today for sure, but it's recency bias, like I just said. Larry Nance is returning. It was a finger injury, so I think his conditioning should be fine. I'll be shocked if there's some sort of minutes limit. I think Nance is at 5,400. It's going to be tough to see what AB Bickerstaff does with this rotation now. A lot of things can happen in that Cleveland team, but hopefully Nance gets a consistent run at 5,400. I'm willing to take some chances at GPPs for sure with Larry Nance. Over there in FanDuel on the power forward spot, Aaron Gordon's 5,500, and he played only 14 minutes today. So tight minutes limit for Aaron Gordon. Back-to-back, there's a good chance he might not even play. So keep in mind with that situation. Jayshawn Tate started for the Rockets today. PJ Tucker will not be playing for the Rockets until the trade deadline. So he's pretty much played his last game for the Rockets at this moment.
Just saw that.
So
yeah.
We can definitely consider Jayshawn Tate at 4,700. I know it's Utah, but I do think Houston's going to be riding out these young guys now. It's pretty much going to see what they end up doing before the trade deadline and just take advantage of these guys before Christian Wood comes back. So
if you played PJ Tucker even after he was not in the starting lineup, I really don't know what to tell you. You have learned nothing from us, and I apologize because we should have done better as a duo. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no. Once he wasn't starting, it was tough. Then, especially Kevin Porter was on the slate, so that was tough to consider that as an option. Where do you think PJ Tucker ends up?
It's a good question. I mean, there's been already talk about Miami. There's been talk about a couple of different spots. There's one other major one that I can't remember right now. I mean, Brooklyn makes a lot of sense, but don't they have everybody already? Isn't Brooklyn full? They're full.
No, they still have another roster spot available. So
well, then PJ Tucker's going to Brooklyn. Enjoy. He misses James Harden so much. He's probably the one guy who is just still texting him under the table, being like, "Look, I'm coming. It's fine."
Oh yeah, he's been wanting out long before James Harden was. So I think another spot for him could make sense. He was good buddies with Chris Paul, so Phoenix might be an option.
They have 14 power forwards, though, between Saric, Kaminsky. Who else do they have? They have Nader, who plays 3, 4. Jay Crowder is a 4. Good Lord.
Even, I think Philadelphia could be another option for him to go to. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening.
Here's the thing. PJ Tucker's a good basketball player. It's hard to argue against him being a good... He doesn't do anything offensively. He sits in a corner and just lets other people go and do things. And he used to make corner threes. He doesn't even shoot them anymore. But he's a great defender. He's an elite defender. Houston, they had so many of their issues covered by him for years, for 2 or 3 years, playing small ball, doing the things that they needed to do for Harden to be effective. PJ Tucker deserves a lot of credit, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. And have you seen that guy's sneaker closet?
It's
Best
outrageous.
in the world.
He's the richest man in the world. You would think he was Bezos with that closet. It is outrageous. Anybody else you want to talk to about power forward? I wanted to bring up Markieff Morris, but then I just kind of kept living my life. Anybody else you want to talk about?
Rudy Gay. Just because there's a shorthanded Spurs team, and he played 27 minutes last night, and at 5K, I think he can definitely pay off that price tag.
Yeah,
And if Kevin Love plays, I'll have a little bit of interest if there's no minutes limit. I just had to give Kevin Love a shout out.
Markieff Morris played minutes into the 30s the last two. He's sitting at 4,100 over on FanDuel. Just a guy that I thought I'd bring up and throw into the world. That's your Eric's terrible take for the day. To the top end of center, we've got Nikola Jokic, 10,900. Denver up against Memphis. Sorry, J-Val, this is not a great spot like it was 2 nights ago for you. Joker's coming to town, and he's going to do a lot of bad things. Joel Embiid's got that Q mark next to him, but he's not going to play, is the way that it sounds like. We'll have to see. Don't quote me on that, but sounds like you go and see a barber. It would be weird if Simmons didn't play and he could. I don't know how that works. Unless like Simmons was in the chair and then Joel Embiid wasn't. You know, we're not going to even get into that. Nikola Vucevic, 10-3. A guy that I had a little interest in today. Aaron Gordon being in helped get down a little bit on it. I still had too much. But somebody that I definitely could see smashing up against Podol, against... There's no answer for Nikola Vucevic on the San Antonio side of the ball. And then a bunch of power forwards that we discussed between Sabonis and Williamson. But then we got to bring up the guy, Jared Allen, who is actually leading the league. So when I was talking about the true shooting percentage, because I'm learning new things all the time. True shooting percentage leader in the clubhouse right now, Jared Allen for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Talk to me about center.
Center. You got Nikola Jokic versus Memphis. Jokic had played Memphis earlier. No, he hasn't played Memphis this year yet. So Jokic 11-7. Man, 11-7. One of the most expensive price tags of any player on the FanDuel slate this regular season, I want to say. So that's a
maybe opening day James Harden was like close before they realized that he was trying to tank.
Yeah, I think he was 11-5 the other day, but 11-7 is a ton. Now, if Embiid is full go, I'll have some interest in Embiid. And if for some reason he's questionable and they have no idea if he's playing, I'm going to, obviously, what time does that game tip off? It is the first game that tips off tomorrow.
Gross. Yep.
An 8 p.m. Eastern game, so it's a later lock on a Friday. So, hey, maybe if he's going to play, I'm going to have a lot of interest in Embiid. We just saw what Jonas Valanciunas did to this Washington front court. Put up 67 fantasy points. What's Embiid going to put up? 97 against this Washington team?
Give or take.
Yeah. Vooch, on the other side of things, yeah, he's just doing everything. The shot volume is insane. This guy just is a lock to take 20 shot attempts. That's something that's always going to have an interest in me. Rudy Gobert should eat against this Houston front court potentially. I don't expect Justin Patton to slow him down. He could definitely have a huge upside. Jared Allen had a great stretch when Andre Drummond was pretty much put aside until the trading block. And then the last 3 games has been disappointing. Now, our team's kind of like figuring him out in this new role. You really want him to get double-digit shot attempts because the more likely or not, he's going to go like 10 of 12 from the field because they're all put-back dunks of some sort. He doesn't really get to the line much, and obviously you want the rebounds and blocks to get there, which haven't been the case the last 3 games. So, and Jared Allen's an exceptional shot blocker, as we've seen so far in his career. Jakob Poeltl played 32 minutes last time.
No,
I think I'd have some interest because they're going to need his body against Jonas Valanciunas.
No, the most meaningless 32 minutes I've ever seen in my entire life. Just no. Just say no. Okay, continue.
And I think Miles Turner at the same price tag, I'd prefer Turner to Poeltl against this Lakers team, who will not have Marc Gasol. And I will have interest in Montrezl Harrell for that reason. That's
my guy.
Ton of minutes that are going to be available. And hopefully he gets it going. It's one of the worst off-season signings, in my opinion, this Lakers Harrell signing. I was not a fan when they first did it. It didn't make a ton of sense for me. So at 6K, they probably want to get some confidence and maybe him and LeBron get some sort of two-man game going because it hasn't been there all season long.
Yep, I'm right there with you. It was strange. It's very strange. Being somebody who moved out here, and I couldn't afford to go to Lakers games, so I went to a ton of Clippers games, and it was fun to watch Harrell. He's not the same kind of guy that he was before, but that being said, he did play 33 minutes against Sacramento last time out. I expect him to garner quite a bit of ownership still tomorrow. On FanDuel, 6K, maybe he gets a little bit different, but Kelly Olynyk's still down there at 4,500, so it's going to be hard. If I'm going to go down to that bottom end, you've got him, and then Dwight Howard's 4,800 if Embiid doesn't go. We saw Tony Bradley start tonight. You could still go back that direction as one Rinpack did. He's very sharp. You should listen to him. But Dwight Howard, 4,800, even if he doesn't start, would be viable in a lot of ways against Washington. Anybody else to round out the position?
Over there in DK, looking at some of the price tags right now, no Adebayo. I'll have interest in Olynyk over there. As even at 5,700, the Chicago front court is really just not that good. And Olynyk is balling out, man. This guy has, the last couple of games, has played north of mid-30s minutes. Him and Jimmy Butler are kind of carrying this team right now. So Kelly Olynyk, elevated price tag. I'll have some interest. I expect his ownership to be quite low. And that's one guy that I think we could have considered. And that's really it. Center, it's Jokic, and if Embiid plays, but man, it is a tough center position for even a 7-game slate.
And not Jakob Poeltl. Guys, anything else you want to say before we get out of here today?
No, definitely check out that Shamrock promotion as we round out this first week of the second half. Hopefully you guys are going to have some Mark K performances lined up to sleep for you guys. So definitely check out that promotion. Golf is in full swing. Lots of showdown golf. Some huge showdown golf prizes. I know Eric. For those who don't know, Eric is a borderline professional golfer. He is very, very good at golf. So we'll definitely going to see some Eric do some golf content in the near future for sure.
Real life golfer. Let it be known. Not just the DFS streets where, I get Harris English, my 25% Harris English that got a 0 as he withdrew before the tournament today. Oh, God. Anywho, guys, this was another awesome week. Mark, again, congratulations to you, my guy. Way to take it down. Right coming back from the All-Star break, too. So cool. It could be one of us next. Hopefully me. But, probably going to be Rinpack. Let's be serious. Guys, we'll see you again next week. Take it easy.